Hi everybody, Debbie, aka Miss Ladybug, here celebrating my 6 years off benzodiazepines. Yes, it's been since October 10th, 2016 was when I took my last routine dose of a class of medications that I had been prescribed for 25 years. And this last 6 years have been some of the most incredible years I've ever had in my life. And it took about 3 years to come off the benzos, 2.5 to 3 years to come off the benzos, as well as most all other pharmaceuticals. I don't take anything now except I use cannabis and mushrooms. And I was on a lot of medications. And this has been quite a journey. My gratitude grows exponentially every day, especially when I really go back and look at postings from 2013, 2012, 2015, 2017, and I see how bad of a situation I was in when I was on the meds and while coming off them. And that first couple years, it was touch and go for a long time. I do not take it lightly that I am still amongst the living, because it could have been that I chose to exit because it was that difficult at times. But as always, in the darkest periods of my life, there has been a crack in the far distance with a little tiny bit of light that shined through, that gave me some hope that maybe I would get out of the darkness. Maybe I would get better. Maybe I would be okay. Maybe I could get a life. Maybe I could be free of all pharmaceuticals. Maybe I could love myself just as I am. Maybe I can better accept others as they are. I've learned so much on this journey. And today, at this point, I'm grateful for everything I've gone through, truly. All those horrible, hard times, I'm grateful for them because they have brought me to today, and I really like who I am today. I like the way I think. I like the way that I treat the people that I encounter in the world. Am I perfect? No. Do I still sometimes say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing or act without thinking first? Of course, I'm human. And these new ways that I'm living life and embracing life, they're new ways of living. And so in stress, in turmoil, I easily can revert to old ways because that's human nature. We do what comes naturally or what we've used for years, even if it's inappropriate, even if it's unhealthy. In fact, that's another thing I have learned through this is there are things people do that are very, very unhealthy, but it is their survival in that moment, and they are doing what they know to survive. And I understand that so much better now. And there comes a point when those things that we used to do for survival really don't work for us anymore. They really don't suit us anymore. They become more hindrances than helps. But it takes a while for us to have our brains rewired to where we don't revert to those things even when we have learned new ways. For instance, meditating has become a part of my life, and I do it daily now. And in times of stress, when I can take a deep breath and remind myself that I am allowed to take a moment and evaluate before reacting, it goes pretty good. And I can take that minute and breathe and slow my brain down and slow my reactions down. But if I'm tired, if I've been in unusual amounts of stress, caught off guard, I can react in old ways because I'm still practicing the new ways. I did the old ways for 50 years. It's going to take a while to make them pat like the old ways were, where I just revert to those. But I forgive myself when I tackle something in a way that isn't really in alignment with who and what I believe in today, the way I want to be with the world today. So I take a breath. I apologize if needed. I own my side of the street. If I've made a mess, I clean it up to the best of my ability. On this journey, life has continued to happen. There were months, if not years, that life seemed to have stopped for me. It was just hanging on every day, moment by moment, just trying to breathe, literally. And I'm surprised at myself at times that I really did make it through that. But I do live a life of gratitude. I find gratitude every single day in most everything I do and everything I have available to me. None of this has been easy. I've gone through the bulk of it all alone, very, very alone, in a tent for 7 months alone. I went through the loss of a child, multiple moves under horrific circumstances, being homeless, finding out just recently that the man that I thought was my father is not my father and someone else is, being estranged from my family, reconnecting with my daughter and my grandson and son-in-law, which has truly been a highlight. I've also come to the understanding I will never be who I was before this. I don't get to go back. Nobody does. I can't just go and pick up where I left off. I truly have had to create a whole new life. And that's okay, because I have potential. Things can happen that I'm not even aware of yet. I make great efforts to not ruminate and let my head spin. And I do know, I now do have some control over that. We have thoughts, but we can question our thoughts in the way that our brain is working, of if it's based in reality or not. There are all kinds of exercises and skills to learn to manage a very large portion of the discomforts that come with going through this. I know some people don't agree with me. In fact, I know I have haters out there, people who have turned things I've said and done around and tried to make me out to be a kind of person I'm not. And I know that there are people that are angry. They think that I have not been as sick as I've said I was. But that's why I've chronicled this journey. And there are plenty who have known me in person all along. They know the real me. But there are the armchair internet warriors who they pick apart and think that they know better. And they come to all kinds of conclusions just based on what they think they know about me. I've shared a lot. But obviously I haven't shared everything. There have been so many trials and tribulations and times of horrific symptoms and tears and being distraught and going through horrors that I did not share. As well as there have been times I have felt quite well and probably didn't share that either. Just because I'm doing it differently than others doesn't mean my way is wrong. It's working very well for me. It's not for everybody, and that's okay. But I have embraced a spiritual path of my own. I have embraced the practices and skills and tools that I have learned through my own research and through counseling. I do it my way. And I encourage you to do it your way. But do it in a forward-moving fashion. Don't stay stuck. I'm not stuck in, what do people call it? A toxic positivity, which is to me, is almost a ridiculous term. How can positivity be toxic? Being positive sets a vibrational tone for everything around you. Thinking in a positive way, speaking in a positive way, being mindful to not say negativity over and over and over. Because my experience, and this is not just something I've read or some woo-woo thing that I picked up somewhere. This is experience. When I was only sharing about how bad I felt, how awful I felt, how bad things were, and even before I came off meds, I did this. I complained about pain. I complained about how I felt. I complained about how unfair life was. I complained about other people. I complained about my own body. Everything was a big bitch every day. All I did was complain. Because that's all I felt that I had. But then I realized, if that's all I had, that's all I'm going to get. And so I started really focusing on being positive, choosing to be positive, choosing to look in things in a different light, choosing to get out of bed even if I hurt, choosing to go outside even if I felt agoraphobic and did not want to see people and didn't want the air blowing across my face. I did it anyway. I went through the uncomfortableness over and over and over of doing things that really in the moment were super uncomfortable, but I knew it was the only way I was going to change, because the only way to have change is to do things different. If you are sitting in your house, all you're thinking about is how miserable you are, and you're just staying there thinking about how miserable you are and staying stuck in that, that's where you're going to be. You have to do things different to have a different outcome than what you're having at the same time now. And that's what I've done. I have done things so differently. And it has paid off well. So I know this isn't like my usual videos where you see me and I'm animated. I've got 2 front teeth that have broken off. They were caps and they've broken, and I do have my ego still, and I don't want to have people seeing me on video with a big old gap tooth grin. So I've done it this way. I'm entitled to that. Hopefully when January 1 comes around and I'm celebrating 5 years off all pharmaceuticals, I'll have my bright smile back and you'll see my shiny face. But this is the way that I decided to do it this time. This is my little altar, and I've got my different gemstones here, and my sage, and some trinkets and memorabilia things that mean something to me. And so this seemed like a good place to just sit and share my thoughts of the day. So I'm really grateful today, as always. And I'm thrilled. And I'm amazed. I still am amazed, because I was told I was going to be on medication the rest of my life. And I'm not. And I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. I still have symptoms. Don't know what they're from. Could be from PTSD, could be from benzos, could be from opiates, could be from taking Levaquin with benzos, and that's part of all of my nerve and tendon issues. Could be a lot of things. Could be still post-COVID. I've had COVID twice in my recovery. I can't attribute it to any one thing anymore. I just know I don't feel 100% the way I'd want to. I don't have the strength that I'd want to have. I don't have the endurance I'd want to have. I don't have the energy I'd like to have. I have pain in various areas. But I'm still living a good life. I'm having fun with my dogs. I go to the beach. I go garden. I cook. I make medicine for people. I smile. I feel my feelings. I cry. I still am grieving. And will be probably the rest of my life. But I'm moving forward with my life and having a life in spite of it not being just how I want it and not feeling excellent all the time. This is the only life I get on this earth that I'm aware of at this time. And I got to make the best of it. And so do you. So I hope this gives you some encouragement. Or maybe it'll piss you off. I don't know. I only keep making videos because there are many people that tell me they get something out of them. And as long as there's people who find benefit, I'll keep sharing. And if you don't like it, then quit watching. See, you have a choice. You have a choice in everything. In your misery and your joy. In your sorrow and your happiness. You do have a choice. Nothing is permanent and everything changes. Anyway, this is it. This is life. I embrace it. I hope you do too. Love y'all. Peace.